Final Fantasy XI was a beautifully imbalanced game in its prime, with jobs swiftly bouncing around in terms of strength and popularity depending on patches, equipment, and most importantly, level range. The game was an expert at slowing your progress, increasing the difficulty just enough before hitting you with a huge damage, utility, or sustainability shift that made you intensely feel like you were far more powerful than you were before. These were moments like Sneak Attack, Trick Attack, Viper Bite for Thief, Utsuzumi Ni for Ninja, paired with Spitting Slash for Dark Knight, closing light skill chains, Refresh for Red Mages. For this video, let's get into how this made the game better, but how it could also make the game worse. So hey guys, it's Hunt for Games, and these moments of sudden improvement were one of the biggest things that kept me coming back to Final Fantasy XI. I mean, the levels leading up to these abilities, spells, weapon skills were usually pretty rough, as the jobs struggled to fulfill roles that were a little easier levels before. The overall party could often suffer because of these drastic changes, but man, when you got there, my god did you feel amazing. I mean, people will still share stories about their first party with a Bard's Ballad, first Dancing Edge, first Ancient Magic spell. These moments could happen multiple times throughout a leveling to cap, and by 75, you could actually feel the combination of tools at your disposal that you'd acquired over the long leveling experience. It truly gave you that feeling of badassery, that you could take on the world and win. But here's the kicker, not every job hit these moments at exactly the same time. At level 33, for instance, Thief was suddenly able to throw out a 500 damage weapon skill that could close a powerful distortion and put all that hate on the tank. Dark Knight, on the other hand, struggled for ages with weapon skills, not really getting anything spectacular for some time, and tended to steal hate just by existing. This led to an inevitable desire for certain jobs over others for level ranges where you knew they'd be far superior. And this could be exacerbated by enemy types as well. From 55 to 60, for instance, Calibri were all the rage, a bird type that was weak to piercing, and there really was no better camp option available at the time of Ottergon's release, and still to this day. This left Dragoons and Sams using Polearm having just earned the hefty pentathrust in a great position. Poor Dark Knights again were screwed though, and it was doubly bad with the Calibri reflecting back their magic, one of Dark Knight's unique benefits. Now ultimately, I think this imbalance is crucial. It gives each job a unique flavor, and you have that feeling of greatness when you know you're in one of the golden periods. Depending on how flexible the game is as well, you can make up for your shortcomings in level ranges where that strength kind of wanes, and feel even better knowing that an underdog like you is going toe-to-toe with the pack leaders. Thief started to fall back in popularity again in the 50s, for instance, as Viper Bite lost some of its kick, but Dancing Edge was still a ways away. By this point, not everyone wanted to deal with Sneak Attack, Trick Attack all the time if the damage didn't make up for it. I used to balance it out with some Acid Bolts, an extra expense and skill to level, but a serious benefit to the party. Acid Bolts from a crossbow could add a 25% defense debuff to the enemy, helping the whole party a significant amount, almost as much as a Bard attack bonus, and even countering some buffs like Crab's Scissor Guard and removing it from the enemy, regardless of whether or not you had a spell available. But let's face it, stigma is still a thing, and it's hard to sell a party on some of these less visible benefits sometimes. And sometimes there's just really only so much a player can do to improve their job. I mean, Summoner can cast a million Cure 3s, but will never really have access to a Cure 4 or 5, which are far superior. And if you really just need a healer and there's a White Mage and a Summoner available, most of us would have picked the White Mage. Bringing me to the original point of this video. Those level ranges where there's just nothing you could do. Some of the toughest levels in the game were those levels right before huge jumps. 69 for Summoner before getting the level 70 blood packs. The level right before darkness or light closing weapon skills were earned. 39 for Red Mage before getting Convert and then the amazing Refresh. Especially with how partying could work in Final Fantasy level, where you could have a little bit of a range in the party. If there was a 41 Red Mage and a 39 Seeking, most times you'd grab that 41, especially if the rest of your party's 40 or already 41. Now that's not a huge deal in the 30s and 40s where levels weren't that difficult to come by, but when it's 60 to 70, I mean that was rough. Those level ranges honestly could take days or weeks at a time per level, and if you were the bottom of the totem pole, you better hope you could form some decent parties yourself or you just wouldn't make it. And frankly, that is a little shitty. I mean, it didn't always make for a fun gaming experience with days where I just couldn't get a party. I mean, while my friends continued on with their light skill chaining Dark Knights, utility loaded Red Mages, and tanking ninjas, my poor Summoner was kind of struggling. So yes, is that imbalance good? Totally, for giving each class a unique feeling that it's special, that it's a unique flower that brings something different and useful to the table. But can it be detrimental? Yes, and anyone who says otherwise is obviously a bard, so screw you. I'm just kidding, but obviously we could go on and on about more examples and other situations of imbalance that alter the equation even further. Utility outside of partying and leveling, like transportation via teleports, lockpicking, and a myriad of others. But ultimately, I want to hear your thoughts. I was mostly on the shitty side of the track throughout my leveling experience in Final Fantasy XI, and I still feel like it was awesome that it was there. But how about you guys? Whether it be in Final Fantasy XI, EverQuest, World of Warcraft, or a ton of others, did you enjoy when this imbalance was more prevalent and the shift in power and utility was constant? Or do you prefer the more modern approach with balance throughout the game being tightly coupled so that no one ever really gets left behind? Hit me up in the comments section with your thoughts, and come join the Twitch chat on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you just want to chat about it there. I'm always love talking about this stuff. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, you should totally think about subscribing. I've got videos coming out twice a week, and if you like this one, there's at least a chance you like some of the others that are very similar to this, so live dangerously. Let me know what you guys thought about the video in the comments and other videos you'd like to see. And finally, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Huntin for Games to keep up with all the latest stuff. See ya!